The rain hammers against the cracked window of my studio apartment like accusation, each drop a reminder of everything I've lost. I sit on the edge of my mattress, no bed frame, just the thin cushion against bare floorboards, staring at my phone screen through tears that won't stop falling. The eviction notice on the counter glows white in my peripheral vision. 48 hours until I'm on the street. 48 hours until 3 years of scraping by, of surviving, of believing things would get better, ends with me and my daughter sleeping in my beat-up Honda. Mia's at Keisha's tonight, safe and oblivious to how close we are to losing everything. She's 7 years old and still believes her mother can fix anything. The weight of that faith crushes something in my chest. I should have seen this coming. Should have known Trevor Ashford would find a way to destroy me completely after I refused to falsify those financial reports. Whistleblower protection doesn't mean much when your boss has connections that reach into every corner of this city. When he can blacklist you so thoroughly that even McDonald's won't return your calls. My fingers hover over my phone. Keisha's been trying to get me to reach out to her cousin Marcus for weeks now. He runs some kind of security business, she says. Knows people who can help people like me. People who need to disappear from dangerous situations. I've been too proud to ask for help from strangers, but pride doesn't keep rain off your daughter's head. Pride doesn't fill an empty stomach. I pull up Keisha's last text, the one with Marcus's number, and my vision blurs with fresh tears. The digits swim on the screen. I blink hard, trying to focus, trying to see clearly enough to copy the number correctly. My hands shake as I open a new message thread. I don't even know what to say. How do you text a stranger and ask them to save your life? The cursor blinks at me, waiting, judging. Finally, I type, Keisha gave me your number. I need help. Someone's threatening my daughter. They know where we live. Please, I'm desperate. I'll pay whatever you need. Just help us disappear. My thumb hovers over the send button. This is it. This is me admitting I can't do this alone anymore. This is me breaking. I press send before I can change my mind. The message delivers with a soft whoosh that sounds too gentle for what I'm asking. For 30 seconds, nothing happens. The rain continues its assault. Somewhere in the building, someone's television plays too loud, a laugh track mocking my misery. Then my phone buzzes. The response comes fast. Too fast. Wrong number. Just 2 words, but they land like a fist to my stomach. I stare at the screen, at Keisha's text above my conversation, and my blood goes cold. The number I copied, I transposed 2 digits. I didn't text Marcus. I texted a complete stranger and just told them someone's threatening my daughter, that I'm desperate, that I need to disappear. Every true crime podcast I've ever listened to screams warnings through my head. I've just painted a target on my back to someone who now knows I'm vulnerable, alone, and scared. My fingers fly across the keyboard. I'm so sorry. Wrong number. Please delete this. I hit send and immediately power off my phone. Like that will somehow undo what I've done. Like I can take back my desperation and vulnerability, shove them back inside where they belong. But the damage is done. I've exposed myself to a stranger in the most dangerous way possible. I sit in the dark, listening to rain and distant sirens, and wonder how I've managed to make everything so much worse. The eviction notice seems almost trivial now, compared to the new fear coiling in my gut. I close my eyes and see Mia's face, her gap-toothed smile, the way she still holds my hand when we cross the street. She deserves so much better than this. So much better than a mother who can't even send a text message without potentially putting them both in danger. An hour passes, maybe 2. I lose track of time in the dark, my phone still powered off, my mind racing through every possible consequence of my mistake. Eventually, exhaustion wins over anxiety, and I drift into an uneasy sleep, still fully dressed, still clutching my phone like a lifeline. I dream of running through rain-slicked streets, of faceless men chasing me, of Mia crying out for me from somewhere I can't reach. I wake to pounding. Not rain this time, but something more deliberate, more terrifying. Someone's at my door. The pounding comes again, hard enough to rattle the cheap frame in its hinges. My phone says it's 2:30 in the morning. My heart hammers against my ribs as I creep toward the door, every horror movie I've ever seen playing through my mind. I don't have a peephole. The landlord never fixed it despite my requests. I press my ear against the wood and hear nothing but my own ragged breathing. Who is it? My voice comes out smaller than I intended, thin and frightened. Silence. Then, "Open the door, Sloane Hartley." The voice is male, deep, and carries an authority that makes my blood freeze. He knows my name. This stranger, this wrong number, somehow knows my name. "I don't know who you are," I manage. "Please just leave. I'll call the police." "You texted me 3 hours ago begging for help." Each word is precise, controlled. "Said someone was threatening your daughter, that you needed to disappear. So either you were lying, or you're in danger and too stupid to accept help when it's standing outside your door." My hand touches the doorknob, then pulls back. This could be a trap. Could be someone Trevor sent. Could be anyone. "How do I know you're not the threat?" I ask through the door. There's a pause, then a sound that might be a dark laugh. "If I wanted to hurt you, this door wouldn't be standing. I would have been inside 30 seconds after arriving. Now open it, or I leave and you can handle your problems alone." Something in his voice, the utter certainty, the barely leashed impatience, makes me believe he's telling the truth. Or maybe I'm just desperate enough to take any chance, even a stupid one. My fingers fumble with the chain lock, then the deadbolt, then the knob. I open the door 6 inches and immediately wish I hadn't. The man standing in my hallway is nothing like Marcus, who I've seen in photos. Broad, cheerful, safe-looking. This man is tall, well over 6 feet, with shoulders that fill the doorframe. Dark hair falls across his forehead, slightly damp from the rain. His face is all sharp angles and shadows, beautiful in a dangerous way, like a blade. He wears black suit, black shirt, no tie, and something about the way he stands, the coiled readiness in his posture, screams danger. His eyes lock onto mine, and I stop breathing. They're dark, almost black in the dim hallway light, and they see everything. Every fear, every secret, every vulnerable piece of me feels suddenly exposed. If you're already hooked on this story, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. This is about to get intense, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Now back to Sloane and the stranger at her door. "You're not Marcus," I whisper. "No," he agrees, his gaze sweeping past me to catalog my apartment. The sparse furniture, the eviction notice, the suitcase half packed in the corner. I'm not. He looks back at me and something shifts in his expression, something I can't read. But I'm here now, and we need to talk. Inside. Every instinct screams at me not to let this stranger into my home, but there's something in his eyes, behind the hardness and the danger, that looks almost concerned, and I'm so tired of being afraid alone. I step back. He moves inside with a predator's grace, shutting the door behind him with a soft click that sounds too final. He's even more imposing in my small space, making the already cramped apartment feel microscopic. His presence fills every corner, heavy and intense. "Sit," he says, gesturing to my ratty couch. It's not a request. I sit, my hands twisted in my lap, watching as he remains standing, looking down at me with an expression I can't read. "Start from the beginning," he says. "Who's threatening your daughter? Who do you need to disappear from? And don't lie to me, I'll know." The way he says it, the absolute certainty, makes me believe him. So I tell him everything. About Trevor Ashford and the falsified reports. About refusing to lie for him and losing my job. About the blacklist and the threats and the eviction notice and how I'm 48 hours from living in my car with my 7-year-old daughter. The words pour out like confession, like I've been holding them inside too long, and his presence has somehow broken the dam. He listens without interrupting, his face an unreadable mask, his eyes never leaving mine. When I finish, silence fills the apartment. The rain has stopped, I realize. The sudden quiet feels ominous. Trevor Ashford, he finally says, and something dark crosses his features. The hedge fund manager, offices in the financial district. You know him? Hope flutters in my chest, fragile and desperate. I know of him. He pulls out his phone, types something, then looks at me again. This threat, he's made it explicit? Told you directly he'd harm your daughter? I shake my head. Not directly, but people have been following us, watching our apartment, and I got a package yesterday. Inside was a photo of Mia at her school during recess, with a note that just said, "Accidents happen to children who don't listen." My voice breaks on the last word. Saying it out loud makes it real again, makes the fear fresh and sharp. His jaw tightens, the only visible reaction. He types something else into his phone, then pockets it. When he looks at me again, there's something new in his eyes. Something that looks like anger, but not directed at me. You called the police? They said without a direct threat, there's nothing they can do. That it could be anyone. That I should take precautions and be vigilant. The bitterness in my voice surprises me. Very helpful. The police are useless for this kind of thing, he agrees. Trevor Ashford has connections, money, the kind of power that makes evidence disappear and witnesses recant. The way he says it, with such certainty, sends a chill through me. How do you know all this? He doesn't answer. Instead, he asks, "Where's your daughter now?" With my friend Keisha. She's safe. She doesn't know anything's wrong. I didn't want to scare her. Smart. He moves to my window, peers out through the broken blinds with the practiced eye of someone looking for threats. But this apartment isn't secure. Your locks are garbage. Your fire escape is accessible. If someone wanted to get to you, they'd have been inside already. That's supposed to make me feel better? It's supposed to make you smart. He turns back to me. Pack what you need for yourself and your daughter. You have 10 minutes. I stand slowly, my legs unsteady. Pack? For what? Where am I supposed to go? Somewhere safe. I don't even know who you are. My voice rises slightly, fear and frustration bleeding through. You're a wrong number, a stranger. Why would you help me? What do you want? He studies me for a long moment, and I have the strange sensation of being evaluated, weighed, measured against some invisible standard. Finally, he says, "My name is Dante Vale, and what I want is to make sure Trevor Ashford doesn't hurt a child to send a message." The name means nothing to me, but the way he says it, like it should, makes my pulse quicken. 8 minutes now, Dante Vale says, glancing at an expensive watch on his wrist. Unless you'd prefer to stay here and see who shows up next. Your choice. It's not really a choice. We both know it. I move to my suitcase and start throwing in clothes, mine and Mia's, enough for a week, maybe 2. My hands shake as I pack, and I'm hyper-aware of Dante watching me from across the room. He's silent, still, but his presence is like electricity in the air. Why? I ask as I zip the suitcase. Why are you helping me? Really? He's quiet for so long I think he won't answer. Then, because you made a mistake. Send a text to the wrong number. And in my line of work, mistakes like that usually end badly. This time I'm making sure it doesn't. Your line of work, I repeat slowly, realization dawning cold and terrible. What exactly is your line of work, Mr. Vale? His smile is knife sharp. Nothing you need to worry about. Not anymore. But I am worried. Terrified, actually. Because I've just let a beautiful, dangerous stranger into my apartment, and I'm about to get into a car with him based on nothing but desperation and instinct. This is how women disappear, I think. This is how stories end badly. But what choice do I have? Trevor Ashford wants to hurt my daughter to keep me quiet. The police can't help. I have no money, no job, no options left. So when Dante Vale picks up my suitcase and heads for the door, I follow. I follow him down 3 flights of stairs through the rain-soaked parking lot to a black Mercedes that probably costs more than I've earned in my entire life. He opens the passenger door, and I hesitate. This is the moment. This is where I make a choice that will change everything. Last chance to walk away, Dante says softly, reading my hesitation. I won't stop you. But if you get in this car, you're under my protection. That means you do what I say, when I say it, no questions. It means trusting me to keep you and your daughter safe. Can you do that? I look back at my building, at the apartment that's no longer mine, at the life that's already been taken from me piece by piece. Then I look at Dante Vale, at the danger and darkness in his eyes, but also at the strange certainty that he means what he says, that if I trust him, he'll protect us. Yes, I whisper and get in the car. The Mercedes interior smells like leather and something expensive I can't name. Dante slides into the driver's seat with effortless grace, and the engine purrs to life. Quiet, powerful, controlled, like him. We pull out of the parking lot, and I watch my building disappear in the side mirror. Everything I know, everything familiar, vanishing into the rainy night. Where are we going? I ask. First, we're getting your daughter. Text your friend. Tell her you're coming to pick up Mia, but don't mention me. Keep it casual. Keisha doesn't need to know anything yet. I pull out my phone with trembling fingers and type out a message to Keisha. Hey, coming to get Mia. Be there in 20. Thanks for watching her. It sends, and I watch the delivered notification like it's a countdown to something irreversible. Dante drives with the confidence of someone who knows these streets intimately, taking turns without hesitation, navigating through neighborhoods that grow progressively nicer as we head north. You didn't answer my question, I say quietly. Where are we going after we get Mia? A property I own. Outside the city, secure, private. No one will find you there unless I want them to. The words should terrify me, should send every alarm bell ringing, but instead I feel something unexpected. Relief. For the first time in weeks, someone else is making decisions, taking control, shouldering the weight of keeping us safe. We pull up outside Keisha's apartment complex, 15 minutes later. Dante turns off the engine, but doesn't move to get out. You go alone. Don't be gone more than 5 minutes. If you're not back by then, I'm coming in. She's 7. Sometimes getting her shoes on takes 5 minutes. His expression doesn't change. Then you'd better hurry. I unbuckle and reach for the door handle, then pause. Thank you, I say, meaning it despite everything. For helping us. For being there when I texted the wrong number. Something flickers in his dark eyes. Don't thank me yet, Sloane. The way he says my name, low and intimate, does strange things to my pulse. I climb out before I can examine why. Keisha's surprised to see me at nearly 3 a.m, but Mia's so tired she barely processes anything. I scoop her up, grab her overnight bag, and make excuses about a family emergency. Keisha looks concerned, asks questions I deflect, and finally lets us go with a long hug and a whispered, "Call me tomorrow, okay? Tell me what's really going on." I promise I will, knowing it's a lie. 4 minutes and 30 seconds after I left the car, I'm sliding back into the Mercedes with Mia drowsy against my shoulder. Dante glances at us in the rearview mirror as I buckle Mia into the back seat. His expression softens almost imperceptibly when he sees her, and I realize this is why he's helping. Not for me, but for her. Because even dangerous men have lines they won't cross, and hurting children is one of them. She'll sleep most of the way, I murmur, settling beside Mia and letting her curl against me. Good. Dante starts the car and we merge back into traffic. The property is about 90 minutes north. You should rest, too. You look like you haven't slept in days. I haven't, I admit. The adrenaline that's been keeping me upright is starting to fade. leaving exhaustion in its wake. My head leans against the cool window, and I watch the city lights blur past. Is your real name actually Dante Vale, or is that something you made up? A ghost of a smile touches his lips. It's real. Why would I lie? I don't know. You seem like the type who might have several names. And what type is that? I consider the question seriously. The type who shows up at 2 a.m. to save strangers. The type who talks about secure properties and making people disappear. The type who isn't afraid of Trevor Ashford. I pause. The type who's probably more dangerous than the people I'm running from. His eyes meet mine in the rearview mirror, and the intensity there makes my breath catch. Am I wrong? I press when he doesn't respond. No, he says finally, his voice quiet enough not to wake Mia. You're not wrong. I am dangerous, Sloane. More dangerous than Trevor Ashford could ever be, but not to you. Not to her. That's the only thing you need to know right now. But I want to know more. The words surprise me, but they're true. This man, this stranger, has dropped into my life like a storm, and I need to understand why. What his angle is. What he gains from this. Why? Why do you want to help us? You didn't know who I was when I texted you. You had no reason to show up at my apartment. No reason to put yourself in the middle of my mess. So why? The silence stretches so long I think he won't answer. The city gives way to suburbs, then to darker roads lined with trees. Rain starts again, soft this time, a gentle percussion on the roof. Because, Dante finally says, his voice carrying something that sounds almost like pain. 5 years ago, someone made a similar mistake with me. Reached out thinking I was someone safe, someone who could help, and I didn't. I ignored it, dismissed it, went on with my business. 3 days later, a woman and her daughter were found dead, killed to send a message to someone else, someone who'd gotten on the wrong side of the wrong people. The confession hangs in the air between us, heavy and terrible. I hold Mia closer, my heart aching for the woman and child who died, but also for the man driving us into the night, carrying that weight. That wasn't your fault, I whisper. Wasn't it? His knuckles are white on the steering wheel. I could have helped. I had the resources, the power, the connections. I chose not to get involved, chose to stay out of it, and they died because of that choice. So this, helping us, this is penance? Maybe. He exits onto a smaller highway, the road winding through increasingly dense forest. Or maybe it's just me trying to make sure I never have to carry that kind of weight again. Either way, you're safe now. Both of you. I promise you that. I want to argue that promises from dangerous strangers mean nothing. That I shouldn't trust him, shouldn't believe him, but my eyes are closing despite my best efforts, and Mia's warm weight against me is a comfort I haven't felt in so long. As the car carries us deeper into the night, into the unknown, I let myself surrender to exhaustion. Just before sleep claims me, I feel the car slow, feel Dante's eyes on us in the mirror, and hear him whisper, "I've got you, both of you. Sleep." When I wake, pale dawnlight filters through trees so thick they form a canopy overhead. We've stopped in front of a massive iron gate that looks like something from a movie. Imposing, secure, unmistakably expensive. Dante leans out his window and presses his palm to a scanner. The gate swings open silently, and we drive through onto a private road that winds up a hill. The house that emerges from the trees makes my breath catch. It's not a house. It's an estate. 3 stories of stone and glass, modern but somehow timeless, surrounded by manicured grounds that probably require a full-time staff. This isn't a safe house. This is a fortress, disguised as luxury. "You live here?" I blurt out, unable to hide my shock. "Sometimes," Dante says casually, pulling into a circular driveway. "I have several properties. This one's the most secure." He parks and turns to look at us, his expression unreadable. Welcome to your new home, Sloane, at least until I deal with Trevor Ashford. The way he says, deal with, makes my stomach flip. What does that mean? Deal with him how? Dante's smile is sharp and cold. Don't worry about it. That's my problem now, not yours. Your only job is to stay here, stay safe, and let me handle the rest. He gets out and comes around to open my door. Mia's still sleeping, and I gather her carefully into my arms. The house is even more impressive inside. All soaring ceilings and tasteful furniture, artwork that looks original and expensive, windows that offer views of endless forest. A woman appears as we enter, older, with silver-streaked hair and kind eyes. Mrs. Chen, this is Sloane and her daughter Mia. They'll be staying with us. Dante's tone is professional but warm toward the woman, revealing a gentleness I haven't seen before. Set them up in the East Wing guest rooms, whatever they need. Mrs. Chen smiles at me. Of course. Come, dear, let's get the little one into bed properly. I follow her up a grand staircase, through hallways lined with more art, to a bedroom that's bigger than my entire apartment. The bed looks like a cloud, piled with pillows, and covered in linens that probably cost more than my monthly rent used to be. I lay Mia down, and she barely stirs. Mrs. Chen produces a nightlight from somewhere, plugs it in, and the room fills with a soft, soothing glow. Your room is right next door, she says quietly. Mr. Vale's instructions are that you're to have anything you need, food, clothes, whatever you want. Just ask. Who is he? I whisper, unable to help myself. Mr. Vale? Mrs. Chen's smile turns knowing. He's a man who helps people who can't help themselves. That's all you need to know right now, dear. The rest, well, you'll figure it out soon enough. She leaves me standing in Mia's room, watching my daughter sleep peacefully for the first time in weeks. Are you still with me? If this story is pulling you in, drop an emoji in the comments. Let me know you're here for Sloane and Dante's journey. Trust me, what's coming next will blow your mind. I explore my own room next door and find it's just as luxurious. There's a walk-in closet already stocked with clothes in my size. How did he know? And a bathroom that looks like it belongs in a 5-star hotel. I shower quickly, washing away the fear and grime of the past 24 hours, and emerge feeling almost human again. When I venture downstairs, following the smell of coffee, I find Dante in what appears to be his office. The room is all dark wood and leather, dominated by a massive desk with multiple computer monitors. He's on the phone speaking in rapid Italian, his tone sharp and commanding. He gestures for me to enter, and I perch nervously on a chair across from his desk while he finishes his call. Capisco. Follow immediatamente. E Julian. Bene, tienimi aggiornato. He hangs up and turns his full attention to me. How's Mia? Still sleeping. I clutch my coffee cup like a lifeline. Your house it's incredible. This is really where you live? One of my homes, yes. He leans back in his chair, studying me with those unreadable dark eyes. I own properties in 7 countries. This one's useful for situations like yours. Remote, secure, hard to find. Situations like mine, I repeat slowly. You do this often? Rescue random women who text you by mistake? Something that might be amusement flickers across his features. No, you're a first. Usually wrong numbers just get blocked. So why didn't you block me? I'm pushing, I know, but I need to understand. Need to know who this man is and what I've gotten myself and Mia into. Dante stands, moves to the window overlooking his property. He's silent for so long I think he won't answer. Then, because your text said someone was threatening your daughter. And I have a rule about children. They're off limits, always. No matter what business is being conducted, no matter what debts are owed, children are never acceptable collateral. His words carry weight, like he's reciting something deeply personal, a code he lives by. You said you were in business, I venture. What kind of business? He turns to face me, and the look in his eyes makes my breath catch. It's not threatening, exactly, but it's intense, penetrating, like he's deciding how much truth to give me. The kind that operates in gray areas, he finally says. Import-export mostly. Property development, investment. Some of it legal, some of it less so. You're a criminal. My voice is flat, stating fact rather than asking. I'm a businessman who understands that laws are flexible when you have enough power. He crosses to stand in front of me, and I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. Does that scare you? It should. It absolutely should. But looking at him now, at the man who drove through the night to save a stranger and her child, who's giving us sanctuary in his fortress of a home, I find I'm not scared. At least, not of him. No, I admit quietly. It doesn't. Maybe it should, but it doesn't. Something shifts in his expression. His eyes darken, and he steps closer. You should be scared, Sloane. You should be terrified. I'm not a good man. I've done things... He breaks off, jaw tight. I've done things that would make you run screaming if you knew the details. But you won't hurt us. It's not a question. I know it in my bones, in the same instinct that made me open my door to him at 2 a.m. You'll keep us safe. Yes, he says, voice rough. I will. Even if it costs me everything, I'll keep you both safe. That's a promise. The intensity of his words, the absolute certainty behind them, does something strange to my chest, makes my heart beat faster for reasons that have nothing to do with fear. I'm aware, suddenly, of how close he's standing, of the heat radiating from his body, of the way his eyes are locked on mine like I'm the only thing in the world worth looking at. Why? I whisper. Why would you risk everything for people you don't even know? I don't know. His voice drops lower, intimate. I've been asking myself that same question since I got your text, and I still don't have a good answer. He reaches out, and I think he's going to touch my face, but his hand stops midway. He pulls back, stepping away, the moment broken. You should eat something. Mrs. Chen will have breakfast ready. He moves back to his desk, effectively dismissing me. Stay in the house today. Don't go outside. Don't make any calls except to Keisha and keep it brief. Tell her you're safe but can't explain more yet. I'll handle Trevor Ashford. I want to ask what that means. Want to demand answers about what exactly he plans to do. But something in his posture, in the set of his shoulders, tells me the conversation is over. I leave his office and find Mrs. Chen has indeed prepared breakfast, a spread that looks like it came from a restaurant. As I eat, I think about Dante's words, about the promise he made, about the way he looked at me like I mattered, like Mia and I are worth protecting. I'm still processing it all when Mia wanders downstairs, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Mommy, where are we? This isn't Keisha's house. I pull her into my arms, hold her close, breathe in her little girl scent of shampoo and sleep. We're somewhere safe, baby. Somewhere no one can hurt us. Like a castle? She looks around with wide eyes, taking in the luxury surrounding us. Kind of like a castle, yeah. I smooth her hair back. Are you hungry? Mrs. Chen made pancakes. Her face lights up. Chocolate chip? I'll ask. I carry her to the kitchen, where Mrs. Chen immediately fusses over her. And within minutes, Mia's eating chocolate chip pancakes and chattering happily about the enormous bedroom and the soft bed and the nightlight that makes stars on the ceiling. Watching her, seeing her relaxed and happy for the first time in weeks, makes my eyes burn with unshed tears. We're safe. For now, at least, we're safe. The day passes in surreal normalcy. Mia explores the house under Mrs. Chen's watchful eye, discovering room after room of wonders. I try to read, to relax, but my mind keeps returning to Dante, to the things he said, to the promise he made, to the way he looked at me like I was something precious, worth protecting. He doesn't emerge from his office all day. I hear him on the phone periodically, speaking in Italian and occasionally English, his tone always sharp and commanding. Giving orders, making arrangements, doing whatever it is he does in his gray area business. By evening, I'm restless. Mia's asleep again, the stress of the past weeks catching up to her, and I find myself drawn to Dante's office. I knock softly. Come in. I open the door to find him still at his desk, surrounded by papers and monitors. He looks tired, I realize. There are shadows under his eyes, and his jaw is tight with tension. Is everything okay? I ask, stepping inside. Did something happen? He leans back, studies me. Trevor Ashford has noticed you're missing. He's looking for you. My blood runs cold. How do you know? I have people watching him, tracking his movements, his communications. He's worried. That's good. Worried men make mistakes. Dante's smile is sharp and humorless. He'll make one soon. And when he does, I'll have him. What will you do to him? The question comes out barely above a whisper. I'm not sure I want to know the answer. What he deserves. His eyes meet mine, and there's something dark there. Something that reminds me he's not just my protector, but a dangerous man in his own right. He threatened a child to intimidate her mother. In my world, that's a death sentence. I should be horrified, should protest, should argue that violence isn't the answer. But all I feel is relief. Vicious, grateful relief that someone's finally taking my side, finally making Trevor Ashford afraid instead of me. Thank you, I say, and mean it with everything in me. Dante's expression softens. He stands, comes around the desk, stops a foot away from me. You keep thanking me? Stop. I'm not doing this for gratitude. Then why are you doing it? I told you I don't know. His hand rises, and this time it doesn't stop. His fingers brush my cheek, feather-light, almost reverent. You showed up in my life by accident, and now I can't seem to let you go. Can't seem to stop thinking about keeping you safe, about making sure no one ever hurts you or your daughter again. My breath catches. The air between us feels electric, charged with something I'm afraid to name. Dante, tell me to stop. His voice is rough. Tell me this is inappropriate, that you don't trust me, that you want me to keep my distance. Tell me, and I will. But I can't. I should, but I can't. Because the truth is, I feel it too. This impossible connection, this pull between us that defies logic and reason and every bit of common sense I possess. I've known him for less than 24 hours, and somehow, he already matters. Somehow, I'm already in deeper than I should be. I can't, I whisper. I can't tell you to stop. His eyes darken with something primal and intense. His hand moves from my cheek to cup the back of my neck, thumb tracing patterns on my skin. Sloane. My name, on his lips, sounds like prayer and profanity all at once. This is a bad idea. You're under my protection. You're vulnerable. I should keep my distance. You should, I agree. But are you going to? The question hangs between us. His eyes search mine, looking for something. Permission, maybe, or absolution. Whatever he finds there must be enough because he closes the distance between us, in one swift movement. His lips claiming mine in a kiss that steals my breath and my sanity. It's not gentle. It's consuming, desperate, like he's been holding back for far longer than the hours we've known each other. Like he's been waiting his whole life for this moment, for me, and now that I'm here, he can't be careful, can't be controlled. His hands pull me closer, and I melt into him, into the heat and strength of his body, into the promise of safety and protection and something deeper I'm afraid to examine too closely. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. His forehead rests against mine, and I can feel his heart pounding where my hands press against his chest. This is insane, I breathe. Completely insane. I know. His voice is rough, wrecked. We should stop. We should, but neither of us moves. Neither of us steps away. Dante? I start, not sure what I'm going to say. Before I can find the words, his phone buzzes with an incoming text. He reluctantly releases me, glances at the screen, and his expression transforms into something cold and sharp. What? I ask, fear spiking through me. Is it Trevor? Did something happen? Julian just sent surveillance footage. He turns the phone so I can see. The image shows Trevor Ashford entering a building I don't recognize, but Dante clearly does. His jaw clenches, eyes going dark with something that looks like fury. That son of a bitch! He's meeting with the Volkov family. Who? Russian organization. They handle the dirty work when people like Trevor need plausible deniability. He's already moving, grabbing his jacket, checking something at his waist that I realize with a jolt is a gun. I need to go, now. Wait, what's happening? What are you going to do? He looks at me, and the man I kissed minutes ago is gone. In his place is someone harder, more dangerous, someone capable of terrible things. I'm going to make sure Trevor Ashford can never threaten you or your daughter again. Please, I grab his arm. Please be careful. Don't do anything that... I break off, not sure how to finish. Don't do anything that will get you killed. Don't do anything illegal. It all sounds absurd given who he is, what he does. I'll come back, he promises, his voice softening for just a moment. I always come back. Then he's gone, and I'm standing alone in his office, my lips still burning from his kiss, my heart pounding with fear for a man I barely know, but somehow can't bear to lose. Hours pass like torture. I check on Mia repeatedly, finding comfort in her peaceful sleep. I pace. I try to read. I make tea I don't drink. Mrs. Chen appears at one point, takes one look at my face, and says, "He'll be fine, dear. Mr. Vale always is. You should rest." But I can't rest. Can't stop imagining Dante confronting dangerous men. Can't stop replaying his promise. I'll come back. It's past midnight when I hear the front door open. I'm downstairs before I can think, before I can question the desperate need to see him, to confirm he's okay. Dante's in the foyer, and my breath catches at the sight. His knuckles are bruised, split, and bleeding. There's a cut above his eyebrow that's already swelling. His shirt is torn at the shoulder, and he moves like something hurts. But he's alive. He's here. He's back. Dante. I'm across the room before I finish his name, hands reaching for him, needing to touch him, to confirm he's real and whole and safe. He catches my wrists, gently, stopping my frantic examination. I'm fine, Sloane. It looks worse than it is. You're bleeding. My voice shakes. And is that blood on your shirt? Dante, what happened? Trevor Ashford won't be a problem anymore. His voice is flat, emotionless. Neither will the men he hired to hurt you and Mia. It's done. You're safe. The weight of those words, of what they mean, settles over me. Done. I repeat slowly. What does that mean? What did you do? Nothing you need to carry. His expression softens, and he lifts one hand to touch my face, leaving a smear of blood I don't care about. I promised to protect you, and I keep my promises. That's all you need to know. I should push for details, should demand to know exactly what happened, what he did, what lines he crossed. But looking at him now, this dangerous, beautiful man who went into hell to keep a promise to a stranger, I find I don't want to know, don't need to know. I trust him. Insane as it is, impossible as it should be, I trust him completely. Let me clean you up, I say instead, taking his hand carefully. He lets me lead him to his office bathroom, lets me gather first aid supplies, lets me tend to his wounds with gentle fingers. We don't speak. The silence is heavy with everything we're not saying, everything that's changed between us in the past 24 hours. I'm getting emotional over here. If you're feeling this too, let me know in the comments. What would you do in Sloane's position? Would you trust Dante? Keep watching. This story is about to take a turn. As I clean the cut above his eyebrow, Dante watches me with an intensity that makes my hands shake. You're not afraid of me, he says softly. Even knowing what I am, what I've done tonight, you're not afraid. Should I be? I meet his eyes. No, but most people would be. Most people would run. I'm not most people. I apply a butterfly bandage to the cut, my fingers lingering on his skin. And you're not most criminals. You saved us, Dante. You kept your promise. Everything else, I don't care about the rest. His hand covers mine, large and warm and still stained with violence. You should care. You should demand answers. Should make me explain every dark thing I've done in my life. Do you want to explain? I ask. Because I'll listen if you need to talk, but I won't demand anything from you. You've already given me and Mia everything that matters. Safety, protection, a chance to breathe without fear. That's enough. Something breaks in his expression. His control, maybe, or the walls he keeps around himself. He pulls me closer, buries his face in my hair, and just holds me. I feel him shaking slightly, feel the tension draining out of him. I was so afraid, he whispers against my hair. When I saw what Trevor had planned, what he'd arranged with the Volkovs, he was going to take Mia, use her to force you into silence permanently, and I couldn't let that happen. Couldn't let him hurt either of you. We're safe because of you, I remind him gently. You stopped it. You protected us. I would burn down the world to keep you safe. The words are fierce, possessive. Both of you. Do you understand that? I would destroy everything and everyone who tried to hurt you. It should terrify me, should send me running. Instead, it makes me feel cherished, protected, valued in a way I've never experienced before. I pull back enough to meet his eyes. I'm starting too. His kiss is different this time, softer, sweeter, less desperate, but somehow more meaningful, like he's making a promise without words, like he's claiming me as his spouse while offering himself in return. When we break apart, he rests his forehead against mine. This is crazy, he murmurs. I've known you for one day. One day. I shouldn't feel like this. Shouldn't want you like this. Shouldn't be ready to kill anyone who threatens you. I know, I whisper back. It is crazy. It defies every rule of common sense. But Dante, I feel it too. This connection. This impossible thing between us. And I'm done fighting it. Done questioning it. Whatever this is. Wherever it leads, I'm in. Completely. His eyes search mine, looking for doubt, for hesitation. Finding none. You're sure? Because once you're mine, Sloane, I don't let go. I don't share. I protect what's mine with everything I have. I'm sure. The words feel like a vow, like a promise that will change everything. Then you're mine. He kisses me again, and this time there's possession in it. Ownership, promise. And I'm yours. For better or worse, for however this ends up. You and Mia are mine now, and I protect what's mine. I should question the possessiveness, the intensity, the speed at which we're falling into this. But with Dante's arms around me and his heart beating against mine, all I feel is safe, cherished, home. 3 days pass in a strange, suspended reality. Trevor Ashford is found dead in his office, an apparent suicide according to the news reports. The investigation is cursory at best. Apparently, evidence of financial crimes and threats against witnesses was discovered, making his death seem like the desperate act of a cornered man. I don't ask Dante for details. I don't need them. All I need to know is that Mia and I are safe, that the man who threatened my daughter can never hurt anyone again. Dante spends more time with us now that the immediate threat is gone. He teaches Mia chess in the evenings, his patience with her endless as she learns the moves. He walks the grounds with me in the mornings, his hand steady in mine. We talk about everything and nothing, my dreams of going back to school, his childhood in Italy, Mia's obsession with dinosaurs, his work that he still keeps carefully vague. But there's a shadow over our new peace, a tension I can't quite name. On the fourth morning, I find Dante in his office, staring at his computer screen with an expression that makes my stomach drop. What's wrong? He looks up and the anguish in his eyes steals my breath. I need to tell you something about Trevor, about what happened that night. You don't have to. I do. He stands, moves to the window. Because you deserve the truth, and because I can't have you looking at me like I'm some kind of hero when I'm not. When what I did was... He breaks off, jaw working. Just let me say this, okay? All of it. Then you can decide if you still want to be here. My heart pounds. Okay. Trevor Ashford is dead because I killed him. The words are flat, emotionless, not indirectly, not by ordering someone else to do it. I went to that building, I confronted him, and when he tried to run, when he pulled out his phone to call for help, I broke his neck. Quick, clean, efficient. Then I staged it to look like suicide. I should feel horrified, should feel revulsion, but all I feel is numb curiosity. Why? Because he deserved it, because he threatened a child, because... His voice cracks slightly. Because I couldn't risk him escaping justice through lawyers and connections and money. Couldn't risk him finding a way to hurt you or Mia in the future, so I eliminated the threat permanently. And the others? I asked quietly. The men he hired from the Volkov family? Them too. Julian and I, we handled it. Made it look like a business dispute gone wrong. The Volkovs won't ask questions. They understand the rules of our world. You hurt children, you pay the price. He turns to face me, and the look in his eyes is raw. I'm a killer, Sloane. That's what I am. That's what I've always been. I've taken lives before, many lives. Most of them deserved it, but some were just business, necessary eliminations, and I've never regretted it, never lost sleep over it until now. Until now? Until you. He crosses to me, stops just out of reach. Until I saw you looking at me like I was something good, something worth trusting, and suddenly I'm terrified you'll see the truth, that I'm exactly what you should run from, that I'm darkness pretending to be light. Process his words slowly, carefully, and I realize something that should probably concern me but doesn't. I'm not afraid. I'm not disgusted. I'm not even surprised. Dante, I say softly, I already knew. His eyes widen slightly. What? I already knew you killed Trevor. I'm not stupid. The news called it suicide. But I saw your face when you came back that night. Saw the blood on your clothes, the bruises on your knuckles. Saw the look in your eyes that said you'd done something terrible and necessary. I stepped closer, and I understood why. He threatened my daughter. He was going to take her, hurt her, use her to silence me. You stopped him. You protected us. That's all I need to know. You should be horrified. His voice is hoarse. You should be packing your bags, taking Mia, and running as far from me as possible. Should I? I reach up, cup his face in my hands, force him to look at me. Because here's what I think, Dante Vale. I think you're a dangerous man who's done terrible things. I think you operate in a world I don't understand, following rules I can't comprehend. I think you've taken lives and probably broken more laws than I could count. I pause, hold his gaze. And I think you're the best thing that's ever happened to me and Mia. I think you're the first person who's ever protected us without asking for anything in return. I think you're a killer, yes, but you're my killer, and I'm keeping you. Something breaks in his expression. Sloane. No. I shake my head. No more confessions. No more trying to push me away by showing me how dark you are. I see you, Dante, all of you, and I'm not going anywhere. He kisses me then, desperate and grateful and so full of emotion I feel it in my bones. When we break apart, there are tears on his cheeks. This hard, dangerous man is crying because I didn't run, because I chose him despite everything. I love you, he whispers against my lips. I know that's insane. I know it's too fast, too soon, too impossible. But I love you, Sloane, and Mia, and I will spend the rest of my life keeping you both safe and happy, even if you never feel the same way. even if this is just gratitude or Stockholm Syndrome or... It's not. I cut him off. It's not gratitude. It's not trauma bonding. It's not any of the logical explanations for what this is. I take a breath. It's love, Dante. Crazy, impossible, way too fast love. And I feel it too. His expression transforms, hope and disbelief and joy warring for dominance. You love me? I love you. The words feel right, feel true. I love you, and I choose you, and I don't care that it's been less than a week. I don't care that you're a criminal and a killer and probably a dozen other dangerous things. You're mine and I'm yours, and that's enough. He kisses me again, and this time there's promise in it, forever in it. A future neither of us planned, but both of us desperately want. When we finally break apart, both breathless and smiling, Dante says, "Move in with me, officially. Not as someone under my protection, but as my partner. Make this your home. Let me be Mia's family. Let me love you both the way you deserve." Yes. The answer comes without hesitation. Yes to all of it. Outside the office, we hear Mia's voice calling for me. Dante's expression softens, and together we go to find her. She's in the kitchen with Mrs. Chen, making cookies, flour dusting her nose. When she sees us, she grins. "Mommy, Mr. Dante, come help." And looking at her happy, safe, flower-covered face, I know I made the right choice. Know that whatever darkness exists in Dante's past or future, he's light for us. He's protection and love and family. He's everything we need. 3 months later, I wake up in Dante's bed, our bed now, to morning sunlight streaming through the windows. Mia's laughter echoes from downstairs, where Dante's teaching her Italian over breakfast. My phone buzzes with a message from Keisha. "Saw your Instagram post. You look happy. Really happy. Call me soon and tell me everything about this mysterious man of yours." I smile and type back, "I will, I promise." But Keisha, he's not mysterious. He's exactly who he seems to be, someone who protects the people he loves, and I've never been happier. It's true. Every word. Against all odds, against all logic, I found home with a man I texted by mistake. Found love with a killer who has the gentlest hands when he tucks Mia into bed at night. Found safety with the most dangerous man I've ever met. And I wouldn't change a single thing. Wait until you see what happens next. If this story has you completely invested, show some love in the comments. Tell me, did you see this ending coming? Because I promise you, what's about to happen will leave you speechless. But peace, I'm learning, is fragile when you love a dangerous man. 6 months into our new life together, I'm decorating Mia's room. She's chosen butterflies and rainbows, so different from the scared little girl who arrived here when Dante appears in the doorway. One look at his face, and I know something's wrong. What happened? I set down the paintbrush, wiping my hands on my jeans. "Dante? We need to talk." His voice is tight. "About something from my past. Something that's coming back to haunt us." My stomach drops. "Okay, let me just... Mia's with Mrs. Chen, right? She's fine. She's safe. This isn't about her, not directly." He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I've learned means he's stressed. "Come to my office. You need to hear all of it." In his office, Dante paces like a caged animal. 5 years ago, I told you about a woman and child who died because I didn't help them. What I didn't tell you was who killed them. The name of the organization responsible. "Okay," I say slowly, sitting on the edge of his desk. "Tell me now." Konstantin Volkov, the head of the family Trevor was working with. He ordered that hit, and he's never forgotten that I hunted down everyone involved in executing it, that I made his organization look weak by dismantling one of his crews. Dante stops pacing, faces me. He's been biding his time, waiting for me to show vulnerability. And now that I have you and Mia, now that I have something to lose, he trails off, jaw clenched. Ice floods my veins. He's coming after us. He's making noise about it. reaching out to my competitors, suggesting that taking you and Mia would be the perfect revenge, that hurting what I love is the only way to truly hurt me. Dante's hands curl into fists. I won't let that happen. I'll kill him myself if I have to. But Sloane, I need you to understand the danger. Need you to know what loving me really means. It means we face it together. I stand, move to him, take his hands in mine. You're not doing this alone, Dante. We're a family now. That means we protect each other. You can't fight this. You and Mia need to leave. Go somewhere safe until I handle Constantine. His voice breaks slightly. I can't risk you. Can't risk her. If something happened to either of you because of me... No, I cut him off firmly. We're not leaving. We're not running. You taught me that when you came to my apartment that first night. Sometimes you stand and fight. Sometimes you trust the people who love you to have your back. His eyes search mine. This could get ugly, Sloane. Violent, dangerous. Are you sure you want to be here for that? I'm sure. I rise on my toes, kiss him softly. I'm sure, and I trust you. You'll keep us safe. You always do. What I don't say, what I can't admit yet, is that I'm terrified. Not of Dante, never of him, but of losing him. Of this dark world he lives in, finally claiming the happiness we've built. That night, Dante increases security. Armed guards patrol the grounds. Cameras are upgraded, every window and door is reinforced. Mia notices the changes and asks questions with the blunt curiosity of a 7-year-old. Are the bad men coming, Mommy? She's in my lap, her favorite dinosaur book forgotten. Mr. Dante will protect us, right? Like he always does? Yes, baby. I hold her close. Breathe in her little girl scent. He'll protect us. We're safe here. I hope I'm not lying. 2 days later, everything explodes. I'm in the kitchen with Mrs. Chen when the alarms go off, a shrill, piercing sound that makes my heart stop. Mrs. Chen immediately grabs Mia, who's been helping make lunch, and rushes toward the panic room Dante had installed. Go, she shouts at me. Get to the safe room, now. But I can't. I can't hide while Dante faces danger. Can't be safe while he risks everything. I run toward his office instead, my heart pounding, and find chaos. Through the window, I see vehicles crashing through the front gate, men in tactical gear pouring onto the property, and Dante standing in the center of it all with Julian and his security team already engaged in a firefight that looks like something from a movie. Sloane, Dante spots me, his expression transforming to fury and fear. Get to the panic room, now. Not without you. I'm barely through the door when strong arms grab me from behind. I scream, struggle, but whoever has me is too strong. A familiar accented voice speaks near my ear. Miss Hartley, how lovely to finally meet you. I'm Konstantin Volkov. Terror, like I've never known, floods through me. This is it. This is the nightmare Dante warned me about. But I'm not the same woman who cowered before Trevor Ashford. I've learned from Dante, learned that sometimes you have to fight dirty. I slam my head backward, connecting with Konstantin's nose. He swears in Russian, his grip loosening just enough for me to twist free. I run, not toward safety, but toward Dante, toward the man I love who's already moving in my direction with murder in his eyes. Let her go, Konstantin. Dante's voice carries over the chaos. This is between you and me. She has nothing to do with our business. She has everything to do with it. Konstantin's recovered, blood streaming from his nose, a gun now pointed at me. She's your weakness, your vulnerability, and taking her from you is the sweetest revenge I could imagine. The world slows down. I see Dante's face, see the desperation there, the love and fear and rage. See him starting to move, too far away to reach me in time. See Konstantin's finger tightening on the trigger. And I see Julian, Dante's right-hand man, appear from nowhere and tackle Konstantin. The gun goes off, the sound deafening, but the bullet goes wide, hitting nothing. Then Dante's there, pulling me into his arms, his body shielding mine as his team descends on Konstantin and his men. The fight is brutal and brief. Dante's team is better trained, better prepared, and they've been waiting for this. Within minutes, Konstantin Volkov is on his knees, surrounded, finished. Dante keeps me behind him as he approaches the man who tried to hurt us. His voice, when he speaks, is cold enough to freeze blood. You came into my home, threatened my family, put your hands on the woman I love. Each word is measured deadly. That was a mistake, Konstantin. Your last mistake. Kill me then. Konstantin spits. But my organization won't stop. They'll keep coming. They'll never let you be happy, never let you have peace. Your organization, Dante says softly, is about to have a new leader. Julian? His right-hand man steps forward. Already handled. The loyalists have been neutralized. The rest, they're willing to negotiate new terms. Terms that include leaving you and your family alone. Permanently. Konstantin's eyes widen with understanding and despair. You planned this. All of it. I protected what's mine. Dante's hand finds mine, squeezes gently. And I'll keep protecting it, no matter what it costs. Did this story touch your heart? Did Dante and Sloane's love story make you believe in second chances and wrong numbers becoming right? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already, because next week's story is going to be just as emotional. Thank you for being here. What happens to Konstantin? I don't ask. I don't want to know. All I know is that when the authorities arrive, police that are clearly on Dante's payroll, the official story is a home invasion gone wrong. That Dante and his security team defended their property legally. That everyone involved in the attack was killed or arrested. That we're safe. In the aftermath, as cleanup crews remove evidence and police take statements, I find Dante in his office. He's standing at the window, shoulders tight with tension, dried blood on his shirt from where he held me. It's over, I say softly, closing the door behind me. Really over? He doesn't turn. For now, there might be others. There are always others in my world. People who see weakness, who see vulnerability, who think taking what I love will give them power over me. Then we'll face them too. I cross to him, wrap my arms around him from behind. Together, like we faced this. You could have died today. His voice breaks. If Julian had been a second slower, if Konstantin's aim had been better. Sloane, I almost lost you. Almost lost everything that matters. I turn him to face me, force him to look at me. But you didn't. I'm here. I'm fine. Mia's fine. We're all fine because you were prepared, because you had good people protecting us, because you refused to let the darkness win. I don't deserve you. His hands frame my face, gentle despite the violence they've done today. Don't deserve your faith, your love, your trust. You have them anyway. I kiss him softly. All of them. Forever. That's what love means, Dante. It means choosing each other every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. 1 year later, I stand in front of the mirror in our bedroom. Dante's room has become ours. His life has become ours. His world has become home. And stare at my reflection. The white dress I'm wearing is simple, elegant, exactly what I wanted. Mia appears in the doorway, wearing her own white dress and a flower crown that makes her look like a princess. Mommy, you look beautiful. She rushes forward, wraps her arms around my waist. Mr. Dante is going to cry when he sees you. He cries a lot, but he pretends he doesn't. I laugh because it's true. Dante, my dangerous, beautiful man, cries at the strangest things now. When Mia called him dad for the first time. When I showed him the positive pregnancy test 3 months ago. When he thinks I'm sleeping and he watches us with an expression of such wonder and gratitude, it breaks my heart. Today, we're getting married. A small ceremony in the gardens of the estate that's become our home, with only our closest people present. Mrs. Chen, who's become like a grandmother to Mia. Julian and the security team who've become family. Keisha, who still can't quite believe the strange twist my life has taken, but is thrilled I'm happy, and Dante waiting for me under an arch covered in white flowers. As I walk toward him, Mia's hand in mine, I see the exact moment he spots us, see his eyes widen, see his breath catch, see tears start to fall that he doesn't bother hiding. This dangerous man, this killer, this protector, crying because I'm choosing him, choosing this life, choosing us. The ceremony is short and sweet. We exchange vows we wrote ourselves, promises to love, to protect, to choose each other every day. Promises to be honest, to trust, to face whatever darkness comes together. When the officiant says, "You may kiss your bride," Dante pulls me close and whispers against my lips, "Thank you for the wrong number. Thank you for choosing to trust me. Thank you for giving me everything I never knew I needed." "Thank you for showing up," I whisper back, "for keeping your promise, for loving us, for being our home." We kiss as husband and wife, and Mia cheers, and our makeshift family applauds. And I think about that night 6 months ago, when I sent a desperate text to a wrong number. Think about how one mistake, one moment of vulnerability, one accidental message changed everything. Led me to this man, this life, this love that defies logic and reason and every bit of common sense. If someone had told me then that I'd end up married to a mafia boss, that I'd build a life in his dangerous world, that I'd love a killer with every piece of my heart, I would have thought them insane. But standing here now, watching Dante lift Mia into his arms and spin her around while she giggles, feeling the baby growing inside me, seeing the future we're building together, I know the truth. Sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right one. Sometimes danger and darkness protect better than safety and light. Sometimes love finds you in the most impossible ways and refuses to let go. And sometimes, when you're brave enough to trust, when you're strong enough to choose, when you're desperate enough to take a chance on a stranger who promises to protect you, sometimes that's when you find everything you never knew you needed. "Mrs. Vale," Dante says, pulling me close while Mia dances around us. "I love you. I love you too," I tell my husband, my protector, my home. Wrong number and all. He laughs, and the sound is pure joy, pure light, pure happiness earned through darkness and desperation and one accidental text message that changed everything. "Best wrong number I ever received," he agrees. And kissing him under the flowers, with our daughter dancing, and our baby growing and our future bright despite all the shadows in our past, I silently thank whatever twist of fate made me transpose those 2 digits. Thank the universe for mistakes that become miracles. Thank everything that led me to this moment, this man, this impossible, beautiful, dangerous love, the end and the beginning.